All right. Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. It's a fresh month. Happy September, September 2nd. Fresh slate. Fresh slate. We got some big volatility this morning. NQ gapping lower. We've got a shortened week ahead of us. Hope everyone had a great Labor Day, great 3-day weekend. NQ, like I said, gap lower. We're now into key area of support from August. That actually makes the focus and the main watch for this morning pretty simple and straightforward. We just want to see how is price going to respond to this key area, this purple highlighted area on the chart that you can see right there. That's a 4-hour chart. You can see how many times this exact zone has held as support right through here, right through there, right through there. And then this morning is the question mark. No crystal ball. But what we want to watch for today is the higher time frames. We want to see our buyers going to step in to defend this spot again, keeping price kind of within this intermediate term range here, or sellers going to plow right through that area of support, push us into 800. That is the question. That is the focus for today. I typically like when price is into a major pivot like this ahead of the bell, because it just makes it a little bit easier for us, right? Anytime you have price in a no man's land, like in between two levels of interest, that's going to be a time to flex that patience muscle. But as of right now, we've already seen a test of the 23045, 23100 area. I'm treating that area as a zone. It's a 50-point zone, which given this recent volatility is not it's not that wide. It's wider than I would like it to be, but it's not that wide. I mean, we just saw an 80-point 1 minute candle about 20 minutes ago. On that note, anytime volatility is increasing, what I like to do is drop size a little bit. And the reason I like to do that is to account for the wider structures. So I rely heavily on market structure for my stops and for my profit targets. And anytime volatility is increased, those structures are going to be much wider. It's just a byproduct of volatility. You're going to have wider price structures. So to account for that, we definitely want to be dropping the size a little bit. At least that is going to be my personal approach. So we'll be trading with a little bit lighter size this morning. We are right off of a 3-day weekend. Typically, you want to take it a little bit slow after that 3-day weekend, kind of get a feel for things again. Make sure you're not coming out of the gates as a gunslinger, right? Which leads to losses. Let that A plus setup develop. Make sure you're not too rusty from 3 days off. Know where you want to be involved. Double check the width of your structure as far as your stop is concerned and your risk management. Let's see. Where is our volume profile? Okay, so volume point of control still way up there. Now, yesterday, technically, we do have some trading activity there. So volume profile is going to be a little bit off, at least on trading view, because it's going to include yesterday's session. And our prior day high and prior day low marks are going to be off as well, at least for the indicator that I use, because it's looking at Monday. It's looking at Monday. However, price is so far from prior day low, I don't think that is going to be relevant for today's session. I mean, maybe, but seems unlikely here, unless we get a 400-point bounce. So let's see this open here. We have about 90 seconds. Like I mentioned, 23,100 down into 23,045 is our main focus. We've got great relative volume this morning. Market's trading on great volume. We have a big gap, so gap rules are going to apply. If you have any gap rules, we're outside of the prior day's range by a long shot. I mean, NQ is down almost 1.6% here. For the index, that's pretty big. It's pretty big, right? All right, there's your open. There's your RTH open. It's our actual low through here. Looks like 36.25 is that low from Wednesday, August 20th. Just going to mark that. Right through there. There we go. There's NQ down through overnight low, getting into 45. It's that level of interest. And look at the bounces. That 15-second candle is 30 points. So, yeah, structures are wide. Structures are massive right now. There it is, down through 45. So if we show acceptance below 45, I'll pretty much be hands off till 10 a.m. minimum. Minimum. Good volume off the open, of course. No surprise there. A little bit more of a bounce. Buyers looking for that spring setup. Albert's already out here pushing. Let's see. NQ just undercut that August 20th low. So buyers definitely want to see this current RTH low holding. Yeah, right back down into 45. That was worth a little sample. That was worth it. See if that was a shakeout for me or not. See if the trail was appropriate or that was a shakeout. The shake and bake looks like maybe a shakeout. NQ coming into the highs. Session high right now is 23,102. Just shy of session highs right there. No true session high made. Let's take a look at the 5-minute RTH. There's your opening 5-minute bar all closed. Shaped like a hammer, not green, but shaped like a hammer. So what do we have so far? NQ has, there's your new high of day, but NQ has undercut that August 20th low. You guys saw me mark that out on the chart there. It's going to be a significant point. You get the undercut. What do we call that? That's your spring setup, higher time frame spring setup. Overnight low right in that area as well. That was a little entry I took, was based on that spring, higher time frame spring. Ended up getting shaken out. NQ into session highs now, up into 23,130. It's a good warm up. We'll take the warm up. It's about 30 points with lighter size. Now, if this hourly bar can actually close as a hammer, that would be incredible. Sorry, I had to crank the AC. Still hot here in Dallas. Already 74 this morning. NQ session highs. Albert's still in there, man. Nicely done. Beautiful. Beautiful. It's a very good higher time frame spring right there. Oh, we got Dom in the chat. What's up, Dom? Yeah, same Dom. Same here. ES with a nice little spring at the overnight low as well, getting into 6,400. Good volume this morning. So far, support is holding. Support is holding. 30-minute hammer. That still has 20 minutes. Let's see how this first 15 closes. So again, that main watch now for the rest of today is whether that this morning's low is going to hold. That is the question. Right through here, a little undercut of that August 20th low. Sets up the spring. Are now plus 130 points from that area. Doesn't look like much, does it? That's how these charting platforms can play tricks on you. They scale it differently. And Q new highs. 225 is your upside target if you're still riding. ES new highs. Still great volume this morning. Opening 15-minute bar closes up here in 2 minutes. Right now, just staying patient, seeing if we get a re-entry. Oh, we do have a 9:45 a.m. print this morning, by the way. Final manufacturing PMI here in a minute and a half. Nice work, Gabe. Congrats, man. Beautiful. This morning is my first morning not using Trade Sinker in like 2 or 3 months. It's nice. It's nice not to have that headache. I'll tell you that. RTY into VWAP. ES kind of in no man's land here. All right, there's your 9:45 a.m. print. You can see the spread open up a little bit on NQ. A little bit of movement there. And then we do have another print at 10 a.m. FYI. It's probably just a shallow pullback here. I'd guess like 23% fib. Let's see. Yeah, right there. All right. Opening 15-minute bar closes nice and green though. While I wait for that next setup, just getting my trade logged. Getting everything recorded in the log, getting some notes down. NASDAQ fresh highs. A little bit of consolidation here on NQ. See the width of this structure. 50 points. 50 yoints. There you go. NQ fresh highs. No re-entries for me yet. Should have given that trade a little more breathing room, but it's all good. NQ getting into 225, upside level of interest. Get ES with a nice higher low there versus the overnight low. Now into session highs. And here comes your 225. Yeah, that's your higher time frame spring. Gotta love it. It's good habit development there, Dom. We have about 10 minutes till 10 a.m., 9 minutes till 10 a.m. Great volume. And again, look at your higher time frame. Main focus this morning that we discussed was 23,100 by 23,045. You get the little undercut there of the August 20th low. Sets up the higher time frame spring setup. That was what my original entry was based on. Trailed it a bit tight. Thought we may get a re-entry. Just wanted to lean on the cautious side there, but ended up not seeing that re-entry, and now it's just run away. Can't chase it. Just got to wait for that next entry. That's all you can do. Oh, you got the little micro higher low down. Yeah, I could see that with the 45 right through there. Yeah, that makes sense. I like it. Kind of got the overnight low right through there as well. Yeah, that's valid. That's valid. I like that. Gap rule should be keeping everyone out of the short until at least 10 a.m. if you follow any sort of gap rules. At least the gap rules I use. This says do not short. Do not. Because if we invert this, what do we have? Let's see. A little gap and crap, right? Gap and crap. NQ down less than 1% now. Four minutes till 10 a.m. How we doing so far? What's the Tuesday morning vibe so far? We green? We cash? Are we red? What is it? Nice. Nice, nice, nice. A lot of greens in the chat. So 23,225, nearest level of interest on NQ as we get into 10 a.m. here. 30-minute candle looks to close pretty bullish following a test of the key support zone. Ninety seconds till 10 a.m. Final reminder, we do have a more minor data print here at 10 a.m. 30 seconds. So we'll be looking at 225, 23,225 and NQ. All right, there's your 10 a.m. print. NQ just marked a fresh session high. Was a little micro higher low there at the level of interest. However, due to proximity to 10 a.m. and data print, personally cannot be entering there. So we're still just with the one trade this morning. Staying patient, no FOMO. Oh, VWAP's way up here, 280, 290. 5 minute might be showing some exhaustion here. There's your retest of the 225. That's 50% from the overnight move. That's good info right there, Benny. All right, Gabe, take care, man. Nicely done. Good start to the week. Gotta love it. Volume's starting to taper down a little bit. Yeah, spot on, Benny. Overnight move, overnight sell. That's your 50% fib. Right at 265. See what sort of intraday retracement we get here if 225 fails. See that 5 minute? ES, a little rejection there from VWAP as well. ES did not get all the way into that area of support there. That same August 20th low. Noteworthy. Yeah, 2-hour hammer for sure, Dave. Same page. Same page, especially after big test of higher time frame support. TradingView will sometimes have this issue where it puts a gap in price. Never understand that. Try and switch the time frame, see if it corrects. Nope. Got to refresh. I tried to refresh. So volume tapering down a little bit. We've got a little bit of drift here. Kind of drifty. We'll see how much of a retracement we're going to see. NQ into 23,200 right now. And where was that 50% again? Let's see. 150 by 122. Not aligned with anything else, unfortunately. I like that fib buy zone to have some other sort of reference point alignment. So I'll just be leaning on 225 here, nearest level of interest. See how this 5 minute closes. 15 minute, currently a doji closes in 2 minutes. Yeah, let's see this next 2 minutes here. Buyer's looking for that higher low. About doing anything, does? Let's see. NQ, nope. RTY. RTY, nope. Nada so far. Speaking of which, if you guys want to jump on the autopilot trader wait list, let me send emails out after the stream. Pre-launch is today. Got to be on the list. Have to be on the list. That's the 2-hour trader framework. Fully automated for those that are unfamiliar. NQ session volume point of control just shifted right there, 231. So we got a lot of volume through price being done up here. No higher low. And 15-minute closes in 30 seconds here. So showing a little bit of exhaustion there. That's where it gets tricky because key support has held. You have the spring set up at that area of key support. However, we're within the context of a near-term downtrend. So those best opportunities are going to be that near that major area of support, which seems like a lot of people nailed. There's that 15-minute closure. And again, just focus on this 23,200, 23,225 area. So sellers trying to show some follow through of that 15-minute prior bar low. Buyers definitely trying. They are definitely trying. Notice that I didn't even adjust the drawing yet. Look at that. It's still there. Session volume point of control not helping at all. 231. What's up, Ray? Nicely done on that long, sir. Well done. Well done. Post 10 a.m. is pretty slow. This is quite slow here. Like watching paint dry. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I want to see how price continues to, how this intraday structure continues to build out near the level of interest. Context, we know that key support is held, right? There's your key support zone with the higher time frame spring right through there. And the question is, can buyers show follow through against what is, a near term downtrend? Gap is not anywhere close to being filled. 5 minute looks like you may have a decent higher low setting up right here. So buyers now want to see this higher low hold with a break of session highs. Volume's decent. Volume is decent. So no new high of day made. It's getting a little more interesting here. See if the structure breaks lower. Why don't I use Bookmap for a more clear view of your approach? Bookmap wouldn't give me a more clear view. It's just noise, pure noise. Muddies the water. Makes it muddy. All right, Albert, take care, man. Yeah, I've looked at Bookmap before. For me, there's nothing there. There is nothing there. I just use very basic horizontal lines. And that's what every time I've added something to it, I always just come back to basic horizontal lines, clean and simple. But that's just me, right? That is just me. Horizontal lines, if they break through or stay in a range. Yeah, I'm looking at basically how price responds to areas and levels of interest. There's candlestick analysis, basically, because I know saying something like how price responds can be a little amorphous. So just looking at candlestick analysis at levels and areas of interest to determine market participants' intent. So, like, very, very basic example. Earlier this morning, we see a 2-hour hammer at a key area of support. The expectation is that price would continue higher on a 2-hour time frame. That would be like just very, very basic overview. Then you start to incorporate, some other aspects into your analysis to kind of help you be on the right side of things. But with as far as like the basics are concerned, that's it right there. So a little mid-morning structure kind of building out here. Got this next 30-minute bar in 45 seconds. See if we get the fresh high. Can we get the fresh high? I get it. It's a little bit better. So once the structure builds out, if you're in close proximity to a level of interest or area of interest, you can start to use that intraday structure to your advantage. So it's going to be like a very basic higher low sort of long setup here. And as price approaches the upper portion of the intraday structure, I lift the trail. So the trail's at 41.5. We'll see if it gets taken right here. Tape is accelerating a little bit. So is there some Fed speak going on, or is Trump saying something right now? Got a little flurry of action there. Trail's just beneath this candle. Ooh, one tick away right there. See if it gets hit. There it is. That was a pretty basic setup. So you have the structure is kind of becoming more clear that some sideways action is building out. And you start to see, let me clean this up a little bit. So we know buyers were interested right here, right? Price gets back into that area, just looking for, like I said earlier, buyers to step in, some proof of buying activity. A little doji, 1 minute doji, a little hammer. Close enough to my level of interest. I'll just put the limit buy right through there, and we're gonna target up here with the trail. Pretty much how I do it. Still up decent volume this morning. So then another piece of structure develops right there, market structure within the kind of sidewaysness here. Potentially a series of higher lows within this kind of range, if you will. We'll see if buyers can crack the highs or not. All right, 1 hour into the sesh, let's run a quick poll here in the chat. Let me know how your morning is so far. Tuesday morning. Tuesday. First trading day of the month. Let's see. And Q coming for the highs. Post 10 a.m., this has been brutally slow on NQ. Sideways structure. Good volume, but sideways structure. A lot of barcode on the 1 minute there on NQ. Noah, is that you? Overnight low sweep. Yeah, sign off. Sign off, man. If it that feeling, you got to lean into that and just recognize that. All right, I'm not gonna do anything smart after this. So let me save my account for another day. I know that feeling well. Nothing good comes after that feeling. At the very least, like take like if you want to keep trading, at least take like a 20-minute walk or something like that. Cool off. Physical response to something happening in the market, like you feel your heart rate increase or your palms start to sweat or like tension in like your traps or your shoulders or neck. That's like the best clue to just stop for the day, or at least stop for, set period of time, lock out your accounts, because nothing good comes after that. Nothing good comes after that. Your body's in more of like a fight or flight kind of response. It's not going to be methodical trading. We know that. So it's okay. It's not necessarily a bad thing that is happening. It's a normal human response, but you have to use that as a signal to sign off. Shut it off and wait for alerts. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You bet, man. For me, it was always palms sweating. And I used to, like, years and years ago, I knew like palms are starting to sweat. It's pretty much pre indication I'm about to take a fat L, just get absolutely bonked. And I was like, oh, I noticed my palms starting to sweat. Let me just sign off so I can avoid that. It was never like, oh, my palms are starting to sweat. I'm about to make so much money. It's always the exact opposite. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And Q just sitting here in a little consolidation pattern. Might be time to call it. Might be time to call it. So at least wait for this next 15-minute candle to close. Yeah, the structure could not break higher. I would want to see, like with this kind of series of higher lows within the consolidation, I would want to see it kind of break right away. And we're just right back into it. So now, kind of the thought process is, well, is price just going to sit in this for the rest of the morning, build out kind of a mid morning, late morning high base, and maybe make some move into the close? Maybe. Maybe. See if the structure cracks. It's kind of the structure low right there. If it did break, would you trade a break? No, I don't trade any structure breaks on the index. It's a good strategy in individual stocks, but I've not found that to be a good strategy in index products. The index tends to set up a little bit of a trap at those edge points of structures and then just do some mean reversion. Typically, not 100% of the time, but typically. So that was a big adjustment for me coming from the world of stocks and play and individual stocks, because you could trade breakouts all day long in individual stocks. But in the index, it does not work nearly as well. Plus, it sets you up for a very, very wide risk point. ES pulling back in a 6,400 level of interest. And NQ potentially breaking the structure here. I think our 50% was down through 130 area, but I like some other reference point aligned with that fib retrace. So not a spot I'm interested in this morning. GC gold strong today, coming into overnight high. Gold super strong. Look at that. ES coming in at 6,400, like I mentioned. Good volume here. Big rejection at VWAP. Took some patience, but that looks good there. All right. NQ back into kind of no man's land. We'll see how that 23,100 down into 23,045 areas treated. Where'd our volume profile go? Where are we at? There it is. So remember, Still a ways off, but if that session low fails to hold, probably looking at 22,800. That would be a big failure of August support. So far, that 2 hour hammer that we saw from support has shown no follow through. You still have an hour on that candle, on the current candle. So, but a break of this morning's low pretty much unlocks 22,800 from a higher time frame structure standpoint. At this point, we may as well wait for 10 minutes. See if we get some sort of 11 a.m. move. If not, we'll call it. Pretty cool to see, probably overlooked, but 10 a.m. actually did mark the session high, at least so far. 10 a.m. reversal time. We talked about that 5 minute exhaustion bar right through here, right? Right at 10 a.m. Gotta love it. 10 a.m. reversal time with a 5 minute exhaustion bar. Wow, Steven, that is great to hear right there. 1/4 of the trades and more profitable. That is what it's all about. Fewer trades, fewer high quality trades, better profitability, less headache, less stress, smoother workflow. That's great to hear. I love that. So NQ still in no man's land here. As of right now, I'm looking at any sort of 11 a.m. move. See if we have some sort of setup that aligns with 11 a.m. Otherwise, we'll be calling it a morning. If you trade S&P, keep an eye on that 6,400 area. Definitely noteworthy. NQ into value area low for the regular session. 2 minutes till 11 a.m. ES definitely in some better location than NQ. And about 30 seconds till 11. Let's see if we get a setup here. See if we get any uptick in activity here around 11. There's 11 a.m. So here's the current value area. NQ buyers stepping in there versus value area low. I think it's just about time to call it. I'm interested in either this zone down through here, 100 by basically 25. We got an undercut of that August 20th low that set up the higher time frame spring. And that's the main context for today, for this morning. So whether or not buyers can continue to defend this morning's low. Again, that was the spring setup, higher time frame spring right through there. If price makes a fresh low with acceptance, I'd be looking at 800. If we see support continue to hold, I'll be looking for some action above 225. That's kind of the focus for late morning trades. Pretty sure we still have really good volume. Yeah, volume is not a concern right now. That's pretty much the game plan. Late morning game plan. Good start to the week. We got a little small piece of that spring off the open, and then we did the 23,225 higher low. I'm interested in ES. I'm going to be keeping an eye on ES here. This little consolidation near 6,400. Other than that, it is pre-launch day for the autopilot trader. Those emails will be starting to go out here after the stream. So if you signed up, if you're on the wait list for the pre-launch, keep an eye on your inbox for that email. If you're not on the wait list yet and you want to jump on, feel free to jump on. So the only way to get an invite is if your name and contact info is on that list. So there's the link in the chat. We'll keep it going in the Traders Think Tank here. We've got pretty light expectations for the rest of this morning and this afternoon. NQ still within that opening 30-minute bar, right? 10 a.m. marked the high, or at least the local high. And now just kind of in no man's land. I mean, you do have value area low down here, but that's not an area I set risk against personally. So we call it right there, 2 for 2 on the morning. Hope you guys had a good start to the week, good start to the month. I'll see you in the think tank. If you're not in there, I will see you tomorrow morning for tomorrow's stream. Have a great rest of your day and thanks for your time today. Take care.